In today's episode, we explore a community shattered by the tragic death of a young athlete, Kyle Ellerby. What initially seemed like a heartbreaking accident quickly unraveled into a tale of secrets, betrayal, and a forbidden affair that led to murder. Kyle Ellerby, an 18-year-old high school senior from Carbondale, Illinois, was a shining star both on and off the football field. As the star quarterback of Carbondale Community High School's football team, Kyle was admired by his peers and respected by coaches. His remarkable athletic talent earned him the nickname Golden Boy, and he was frequently featured in local sports reports. Kyle aspired to play college football, with several universities already showing interest in recruiting him. Kyle lived with his parents, Richard Ralph Ellerby, 48, and Cindy Ellerby, 45, in a comfortable suburban home. Ralph, a former football player whose sports career was cut short by a knee injury, channeled his unfulfilled ambitions into his son, pushing him hard to succeed. Cindy, once lively and energetic, had become withdrawn, struggling with alcoholism and feelings of inadequacy. The pressure to maintain a flawless image weighed heavily on the family, particularly on Kyle, who felt the burden of his father's high expectations. Behind his confident exterior, Kyle was secretly grappling with his sexual identity. He kept this hidden from everyone except his football coach, Robert J. McMurdo, with whom he had developed a secret relationship. This bond was both a source of comfort and significant stress for Kyle, who feared the consequences if the affair was exposed. As graduation approached, Kyle's life was a whirlwind of final exams, football practices, and college applications. The pressure of hiding his relationship with Coach McMurdo weighed on him, making him appear more distracted and withdrawn than usual. At home, tensions ran high as his mother's alcoholism worsened, and his father's demands grew more intense. On May 12, 2014, around 7:30 a.m., Ralph Ellerby went to the basement, expecting to find Kyle getting ready for school, only to stumble upon a horrific scene: Kyle's lifeless body at the bottom of the stairs, surrounded by trophies and sports memorabilia. Shocked and disoriented, Ralph frantically attempted to revive his son, but it was clear Kyle was gone. When the Carbondale police arrived, Detective Sally O'Malley led the investigation. O'Malley, a seasoned officer with over 15 years of experience, immediately noticed inconsistencies at the scene. Kyle's injuries seemed inconsistent with an accidental fall, and the positioning of his body and belongings hinted at something more sinister. The basement, dimly lit and adorned with sports posters and trophies, held an eerie atmosphere. Coach McMurdo, the 46-year-old football coach at Carbondale Community High School, was soon brought in for questioning. He praised Kyle's talent, describing him as a player with a natural gift. But when pressed about their relationship, McMurdo grew visibly uncomfortable. Despite initially denying any romantic involvement, evidence of intimate messages between him and Kyle left him cornered. As the interrogation continued, McMurdo's calm facade crumbled, hinting at a deeper, tragic connection with Kyle. Ralph Ellerby, a driven man who had poured his dreams into Kyle's athletic success, was next in line for questioning. Initially cooperative, Ralph became evasive when asked about Kyle's relationship with McMurdo. Text messages on his phone revealed that Ralph had known about the affair and had even facilitated their secret meetings, congratulating McMurdo on Kyle's athletic success, which he believed was linked to their relationship. Cindy Ellerby, Kyle's mother, was also brought in for questioning. Her struggles with alcoholism were well known, and her deteriorating mental state had strained her relationship with her son. During the interview, she lashed out, expressing jealousy over Kyle's relationship with McMurdo. O'Malley noted Cindy's volatile behavior and suspected that her jealousy and emotional instability might have played a role in Kyle's death. On May 18, 2014, during Kyle's memorial service, Ralph Ellerby, visibly intoxicated, shocked attendees by confessing that Cindy had killed their son. He admitted to helping stage the scene to protect their family from scandal. Following this confession, police uncovered blood traces in the basement and additional fragments of the shattered trophy, confirming that Cindy had struck Kyle in a drunken rage and that Ralph had helped cover up the crime. Cindy was arrested on May 20, 2014, and, during her interrogation, admitted to hitting Kyle with a trophy during an argument fueled by jealousy over his relationship with McMurdo. She explained that Ralph had found out and helped stage the scene to make it look like an accident. Cindy's trial began in August 2014, with local media covering every detail. The prosecution argued that Cindy, consumed by jealousy and anger, had killed her son and worked with Ralph to conceal it. The defense portrayed Cindy as a victim of addiction and emotional distress. After 2 days of deliberation, the jury found Cindy guilty of second-degree murder, sentencing her to 25 years in prison without parole. The verdict brought a sense of closure, but the impact of the trial was profound. Cindy's actions left the community divided, with some believing justice was served, while others saw her as a deeply troubled woman needing help. Ralph, who lost his son and wife, retreated from public life, battling guilt and alcoholism. Coach McMurdo resigned and left the state, haunted by his role in the scandal. The town of Carbondale, once united in support of the Ellerby family, was left fractured, the memory of Kyle's tragic death, a lasting reminder of the secrets that can tear families and communities apart. In the aftermath of the trial, Carbondale faced a new reality. The once celebrated Ellerby family had become a symbol of hidden tragedies and unspoken conflicts, shattering the town's illusion of perfection. Cindy Ellerby, now serving her sentence at Logan Correctional Center, led a life marked by isolation and regret. The vibrant woman who once actively supported her son's dreams had vanished, replaced by someone weathered by the consequences of her actions. She rarely received visitors, and the routine of prison life further dulled her once bold personality. Other inmates viewed her with a mix of pity and disdain, sensing the inner turmoil she carried. Every day in prison reminded her of the son she had lost and the life she had destroyed. Ralph Ellerby, left to navigate a shattered life, sold the family home, unable to bear the memories of Kyle that lingered in every corner. He moved to a small, modest apartment on the outskirts of Carbondale, living a reclusive life filled with regret. The town, once viewing him as a proud father and community figure, now saw him as a shadow of his former self. He struggled with worsening alcoholism and spent most of his days confined to his apartment, reliving the memories of his family's downfall. He avoided public places, haunted by the shame and guilt that now defined his existence. Coach Robert McMurdo, whose affair with Kyle had surfaced during the investigation, resigned from his position at Carbondale Community High School. The revelations of his relationship with Kyle destroyed his reputation and career. Moving out of state, he took on low-profile jobs, avoiding roles that would put him in the public eye. Although he was never charged with a crime, the stigma of the scandal followed him wherever he went, making it impossible to escape his past. In his quiet moments, he was left to grapple with the choices that led to Kyle's tragic end and the lifelong consequences of his actions. The community of Carbondale, once unified and supportive of the Ellerby family, found itself divided. The trial had revealed darker aspects of both the family and the town, shattering the wholesome image many had clung to. Friends and neighbors who had once rallied around the Ellerbys at games and community events now struggled to process the truth. The memory of Kyle, a young man with boundless potential, lingered as a tragic reminder of the pressures and secrets that can consume a family. In the years that followed, Kyle Ellerby's story remained a somber legend in Carbondale. His former teammates, teachers, and classmates often spoke of him with a mix of sadness and disbelief, mourning not only his untimely death but the hidden turmoil that had engulfed his life. The town became cautious, with lingering whispers of the case serving as a reminder of the hidden pain that can lie beneath the surface. For the Ellerby family, the tragedy left an irreversible impact. Ralph, Cindy, and Coach McMurdo each faced their own form of isolation, marked by guilt, loss, and regret. Carbondale moved on, but the story of Kyle Ellerby and the dark secrets that led to his death would forever be etched into the town's memory. A cautionary tale about the dangers of silence and the devastating cost of secrets. Years passed, but the tragedy of Kyle Ellerby continued to cast a shadow over Carbondale. The town's residents had moved on in many ways, but the memory of Kyle's life and the events surrounding his death remained a solemn reminder of how hidden tensions can fester and ultimately destroy. For those closest to Kyle, the effects were even more profound. His former friends and teammates, many of whom had grown up and left Carbondale, carried the scars of his loss. Each of them remembered Kyle not only as a talented athlete but also as a kind friend with a bright smile and generous spirit. The complex story of his life, now woven into the fabric of the town, served as a lesson in the dangers of repression, unspoken pressures, and unchecked expectations. Detective Sally O'Malley, the officer who had led the investigation, remained haunted by the case. The details of Kyle's death and the layers of betrayal within the Ellerby family stayed with her, becoming a source of personal and professional reflection. She often spoke about Kyle's case in trainings and community outreach programs, emphasizing the importance of open communication and mental health awareness, especially for young people under pressure. The tragedy became a touchstone in her career, motivating her to advocate for those struggling with hidden challenges, ensuring that their voices would not go unheard. Ralph Ellerby's life continued on a downward spiral. The isolation he experienced after the trial led to a complete estrangement from the community. He remained alone, consumed by guilt and the memories of his former life. Occasionally, he would be seen at the edges of town, looking worn and distant, a reminder of the man he once was and the son he had lost. The weight of his past mistakes became an inescapable burden, one that he carried with him, never fully able to find redemption. Cindy Ellerby, serving her sentence in Logan Correctional Center, continued to grapple with the emotional aftermath of her actions. The prison walls held her physically, but the regret and sorrow confined her mind. As years passed, Cindy began participating in support groups and counseling sessions, finally confronting the deeply rooted issues that had contributed to her destructive choices. She became known among other inmates as a tragic figure, someone who had destroyed what she loved most in a moment of blind rage and desperation. For Cindy, each day was a reminder of the son she had lost and the life she had ruined. Robert McMurdo, the disgraced coach, attempted to rebuild his life far from Carbondale. Moving from job to job, he led a life of anonymity, constantly looking over his shoulder. The scandal had irrevocably damaged his career and reputation, making it impossible for him to return to the life he once knew. Even in his solitude, McMurdo was haunted by the choices he had made and the harm they had inflicted on Kyle and his family. His life became a ghostly existence, marked by the knowledge that his actions had set a series of devastating events into motion. As Carbondale continued to change and grow, the community found ways to honor Kyle's memory in subtle, lasting ways. In the years following his death, the school introduced programs focused on mental health and mentorship, aiming to prevent similar tragedies. His story became a powerful reminder for students, teachers, and parents alike of the importance of understanding, acceptance, and openness. Kyle Ellerby's life, marked by promise and pain, left a legacy that reminded the town of the need to support one another, especially in times of hidden struggle. Ultimately, Kyle's tragic story became woven into the identity of Carbondale, a symbol of the fragility of family bonds and the far-reaching consequences of buried secrets. His legacy lived on, urging those who remembered him to seek compassion, understanding, and a willingness to confront difficult truths, ensuring that his story, though filled with heartbreak, served as a guiding light for those who faced their own hidden battles. In the decades following Kyle Ellerby's death, his story evolved from a local tragedy to a cautionary tale that resonated far beyond Carbondale. The ripple effects touched many lives, shaping not only the town but the personal journeys of those involved and even those who had simply known Kyle in passing. Carbondale Community High School established the Kyle Ellerby Memorial Scholarship, awarded annually to a student athlete who embodied not only athletic excellence but also empathy, resilience, and strong character qualities Kyle was known for. Over the years, the scholarship winners, inspired by Kyle's legacy, often shared their stories of perseverance in the face of adversity. The memory of Kyle's life, with its bright moments and unspoken struggles, served as a source of inspiration, reminding each scholarship recipient of the importance of integrity and inner strength. The high school also instituted mental health and support initiatives, offering counseling and open forums where students could discuss personal challenges without judgment. Inspired by Detective Sally O'Malley's advocacy, the school implemented regular workshops on mental health, emotional resilience, and positive coping mechanisms. These programs created a safer, more understanding environment, helping students feel supported and understood. Detective Sally O'Malley became a prominent figure in law enforcement, known for her empathy and dedication to justice. Kyle's case, with its complex emotional layers, had transformed her approach to policing. She began working closely with local schools, offering resources and advocating for open communication between families and communities. She spoke at national conferences on the importance of investigating the underlying causes of domestic tragedies, inspiring other officers to approach cases with greater sensitivity and a deeper understanding of hidden struggles. As years went by, Ralph Ellerby's reclusive existence continued. However, he found a glimmer of redemption by volunteering anonymously with organizations that supported families affected by addiction and loss. Ralph's experience allowed him to offer a unique, personal perspective that helped others in similar circumstances. Although he struggled to forgive himself, the quiet, anonymous work brought him a sense of purpose and small solace. It was his way of honoring Kyle's memory, helping others avoid the mistakes he had made. For Cindy Ellerby, prison became a place of deep reflection. Over time, she expressed profound regret for her actions and became actively involved in programs for inmates with histories of addiction and anger management issues. She shared her story openly with other inmates, hoping that her cautionary tale would help others recognize and manage their destructive emotions before it was too late. Although her relationship with Ralph and the outside world had severed, she held on to the hope that her efforts to change might one day bring a sense of peace, however faint. Meanwhile, Robert McMurdo's life remained marked by the scandal, and despite moving far from Carbondale, he never fully escaped his past. Living under an assumed name, he drifted between small towns, taking on temporary jobs to make ends meet. The relationships he formed were fleeting, haunted by the knowledge that any moment of exposure could ruin his fragile sense of stability. His life became a testament to the long-lasting consequences of poor choices, a life of exile from the community and the career he once cherished. Carbondale itself grew and transformed with the passing years. Kyle's story faded from the forefront but remained etched into the collective memory of the town. Older residents recounted his tragic tale to newcomers, passing down the story as a reminder of both the brilliance and fragility of human life. Kyle Ellerby's name became synonymous with the need for compassion, understanding, and vigilance, a lesson about the dangers of judgment and repression within families and communities. In the end, Kyle's story served as a profound reminder of the complexities that can lie behind a bright smile and a promising future. His life and death, though tragic, left a legacy of change and growth within Carbondale. Through the scholarship, mental health programs, and the personal transformations of those affected by his loss, Kyle's memory endured not just as a promising athlete, but as a symbol of resilience, hope, and the unbreakable importance of facing life's struggles with openness and compassion. Over time, the story of Kyle Ellerby's life and tragic death wove itself into the very fabric of Carbondale's history, serving as a poignant reminder of the complexities and challenges that often remain hidden within families and communities. The Kyle Ellerby Memorial Scholarship continued to support young athletes and students who embodied qualities of resilience and compassion, evolving into one of the school's most prestigious awards. Recipients of the scholarship often credited it with not only helping them financially but also with inspiring them to face their own challenges with courage and honesty. Many recipients went on to work in fields dedicated to social work, mental health, and community service, driven by a desire to help others avoid the struggles Kyle had silently endured. At the high school, the mental health programs instituted in Kyle's honor grew more sophisticated. School counselors reported a marked improvement in student well-being, with more students seeking help and feeling empowered to talk about their challenges without fear of stigma. Teachers, coaches, and staff received regular training on identifying signs of mental and emotional distress in students. This initiative transformed the school's culture, creating a supportive environment where students were encouraged to speak openly about their struggles. Detective Sally O'Malley's work on the Ellerby case continued to shape her career. She became an advocate for mental health and prevention programs within law enforcement, helping police departments across the state adopt trauma-informed approaches to investigations involving domestic and emotional complexities. Her efforts contributed to a larger movement within the criminal justice system to address the roots of violence and trauma, rather than just the symptoms. O'Malley's influence extended beyond her local community, as she was invited to speak at conferences nationwide, sharing insights from her experience with the Ellerby case and emphasizing the importance of empathy and understanding in criminal investigations. Meanwhile, Ralph Ellerby's journey of quiet redemption continued. He joined a support group for individuals dealing with loss, guilt, and addiction, and eventually began speaking at group sessions about his experience. Sharing his story helped him process his own grief and find a sliver of healing, though he never fully forgave himself for the role he played in Kyle's tragic end. His talks often focused on the importance of compassion and open communication, encouraging others to reach out to their loved ones, and to avoid letting pride or fear stand in the way of understanding. Ralph's transformation, though incomplete, served as a testament to the possibility of finding purpose even amidst deep regret. In prison, Cindy Ellerby's story took a surprising turn. Over the years, she became a mentor to other inmates, sharing her own tale of tragedy and loss as a cautionary lesson. She spoke openly about her battle with alcoholism, jealousy, and the destructive decisions that led to Kyle's death. Her honesty earned her respect among her peers, and she eventually worked with prison counselors to lead support groups focused on managing anger and understanding the consequences of unchecked emotions. Though Cindy knew she would never fully atone for her actions, her efforts allowed her to confront the darkest parts of herself, offering others the wisdom of her mistakes. Robert McMurdo, despite his efforts to escape the shadow of his past, never truly found peace. He continued living a transient life, moving frequently and struggling to find any sense of belonging. The scandal followed him like a dark cloud, making it difficult to forge connections or rebuild a stable existence. Although he remained haunted by guilt, he often wondered if his choices had irrevocably defined him, or if there was any path left toward redemption. His story became a tragic reminder of how a single, reckless decision could destroy not only his life, but the lives of those around him. The town of Carbondale, though having moved forward, retained the memory of Kyle Ellerby's life as part of its collective consciousness. Local legends about the Ellerby family grew over time, serving as an informal lesson to new generations. The tragic story was passed down as a reminder of the consequences of hidden pain and the importance of recognizing and addressing struggles within families and communities. The town became more attuned to the struggles of its residents, with churches, community centers, and schools organizing programs focused on mental health awareness, domestic support, and emotional resilience. Kyle's story was no longer merely a tale of lost potential, but a symbol of a community's transformation, a reminder to listen, support, and seek help when needed. His life and the events surrounding his death became a catalyst for change, shaping the values of Carbondale for generations to come. The legacy of Kyle Ellerby endured, urging those who remembered him to look beyond appearances, embrace compassion, and face life's challenges with openness and courage, so that the tragedies that befell the Ellerby family might never be repeated. 4-0